Mind control. It sounds like science fiction, like something reserved for spy thrillers and dystopian novels. But in truth, the art of mind control operates quietly, invisibly, and effectively right in front of your eyes every single day. From manipulative relationships to psychological tricks embedded in advertising, mind control isn't about magic, it's about power. Hidden power that bends thoughts, reshapes beliefs, and influences behavior. In this video, we're going to uncover the psychological tactics used in everyday life that silently steer you without your permission. This is the art of mind control in everyday life. When we hear mind control, we imagine hypnosis, brainwashing cults, or futuristic machines hijacking thoughts. But real mind control is far more subtle and far more dangerous. It happens through influence, repetition, fear, reward, and social pressure. The core idea is simple: bypass a person's critical thinking and guide their behavior or beliefs without them realizing it. You might think you're making choices freely, but in reality, invisible hands may already be nudging your mind. This kind of control doesn't happen overnight. It's built over time, layer by layer, using psychological tactics that wear you down or hook you in. Often, the goal isn't just to influence what you do, it's to influence what you believe is true. That's what makes it so effective. When the manipulator controls your version of reality, they don't need force. Gaslighting is one powerful example. It's used to make someone question their memory, perception, or sanity. The gaslighter might deny things they said, rewrite history, or label your emotions as crazy until you start doubting yourself. Once that doubt takes root, they control the narrative, and your confidence starts to disappear. Another tactic: repetition. Advertisers use this constantly. Repeat a phrase often enough, just do it, because you're worth it. Open happiness. And it bypasses logic and enters your subconscious. Eventually, your decisions feel natural, but they've been engineered. Emotions are the most powerful tools in the manipulator's arsenal. Why? Because logic can be debated, but emotions can override reason in a heartbeat. Fear, guilt, love, shame, hope, these aren't just feelings. They're levers manipulators pull to steer your behavior. Take fear, for example. It's primal. Fear paralyzes us, narrows our thinking, and makes us crave safety, even if that safety is a lie. Toxic leaders, partners, or even governments use fear to keep people submissive. They paint a picture of constant danger, then offer themselves as the only solution. Then there's guilt, a quiet, corrosive force. Manipulators use guilt to control kind, empathetic people. If you really cared, you'd do this. You always let me down. Over time, you become conditioned to comply, not because it feels right, but because you're afraid of feeling bad. Love bombing is another emotional trap often used by narcissists. In the beginning, you're flooded with affection, praise, and attention. You feel special, chosen, but it's not love, it's bait. Once you're emotionally invested, the manipulator begins to pull away, criticize, or punish you, forcing you to chase the high again. It's the emotional equivalent of addiction, to keep you small, obedient, and doubtful of your worth. They'll bring up your past, highlight your flaws, or mock your dreams, all under the guise of just being honest. Before long, your emotional reactions are no longer your own. They're programmed responses to manipulation. You might believe you're immune to influence. After all, you think for yourself, right? We look to others to figure out what's normal, what's safe, and what's acceptable. When a group accepts a belief, even a false one, it becomes extremely difficult for individuals to question it. School classroom with students nodding in agreement to teacher's incorrect statement. It's how toxic work cultures, extremist ideologies, and unethical social norms survive. You don't need a dictator to enforce control, you just need enough people to act like something wrong is right. Even silence becomes a weapon. If you see injustice and say nothing, you contribute to its power. That's the power of groupthink. The desire to maintain harmony overrides the courage to speak up. Manipulators love this. They exploit it to isolate dissenters and reward obedience. Online, this takes an even darker turn. Social media thrives on mob behavior, likes, shares, and shaming. And once enough people believe a lie, it starts to sound like truth. This is how misinformation spreads. This is how public opinion is manufactured. And so the cycle of control continues, not through force, but through collective pressure. So the cycle of control continues, not through force, but through collective pressure. To resist it, you need more than courage. You need awareness. Because in a world where everyone is being pulled by invisible strings, the one who sees them is truly free. In the age of screens, mind control doesn't need a hypnotist. It just needs your attention and your data. In the age of screens, mind control doesn't need a hypnotist. It just needs your attention and your data. The goal is simple: keep you engaged, emotional, and predictable. You are no longer the user. You are the product. Your likes, your clicks, your pauses, they're all being recorded to build psychological profiles. This information is sold, traded, and used to craft content that hooks your brain and nudges your choices. Ever notice how you think of something and suddenly you see ads for it everywhere? That's surveillance capitalism, and it's mind control at scale. The algorithm learns what excites you, enrages you, scares you, and then it feeds you more of it. Your feed becomes an echo chamber. Your beliefs are reinforced. Your emotions are heightened. And when you're emotional, you're easier to influence. Media outlets use the same tactics. Outrage sells, fear clicks, conflict shares. They don't just report the news, they shape your perception of reality. Even entertainment isn't innocent. Movies, music, and games shape how you see relationships, power, identity. Repetition is key. Show someone the same idea again and again and it becomes familiar. And familiarity feels like truth. It's not about facts, it's about feelings. If something makes you feel something strong, it sticks. This is the silent takeover of the human mind. Not with force, but with feedback loops. And every time you scroll, you're being pulled deeper into someone else's narrative. You think you're exploring freely, but the path was designed for you by people who know exactly what makes you tick. Mind control is effective precisely because it's invisible until you know what to look for. So how do you spot the signs? Start with your emotions. If you constantly feel guilt, fear, shame, or confusion around a certain person or group, that's a red flag. Next, watch for inconsistencies in reality, especially when someone tells you your memory is wrong or your feelings are invalid. Gaslighting thrives in uncertainty. When you begin questioning your own sanity, ask, who benefits from my confusion? Another sign is emotional whiplash. One moment you're praised, the next you're punished. This is often used in toxic relationships and cult-like systems to create dependency. Also, beware of isolation tactics. If someone discourages you from seeing friends or family or says they don't understand you, it's a trap. Manipulators remove outside voices so theirs becomes the only one you hear. Pay attention to information control. Are you only shown one version of events? Are questions punished instead of answered? Whether it's a partner, a boss, a political group, or even an online community, controlling what you know is the first step to controlling how you think. Then there's repetition. If you hear the same phrases, rules, or beliefs over and over, stop and ask, is this truth or just programming? Another subtle trick is reward manipulation, giving praise, attention, or access only when you obey. It's not always loud, sometimes control whispers. The effect is the same. You stop acting from free will and start reacting to their design. The key is to trust your inner alarm. If something feels off, even if you can't explain why, pause, observe, question. Awareness is the first crack in the wall, and through that crack, light begins to shine. Escaping mind control doesn't require brute strength, it requires clarity. The first step is awareness, understanding that manipulation exists and identifying where it's happening in your life. Am I acting from my values or from fear? Am I being guided or coerced? The more you question, the more you reclaim your mental space. Next, set boundaries. Mental control thrives in environments where people feel they can't say no. Practice saying no without explanation. Watch how manipulators react when you resist. Their discomfort is proof of their control. Rebuild your identity outside the manipulator's influence. Reconnect with people who knew you before the control began. Seek out differing viewpoints, even ones you disagree with. Truth emerges through contrast. Turn down the noise, disconnect regularly from media, screens, and echo chambers. Stillness is where your original thoughts live. Educate yourself, learn how propaganda, advertising, narcissism, and cult psychology work. Knowledge is immunity. Surround yourself with people who value truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And most of all, trust your intuition. That quiet gut feeling you've ignored, it's your mind's alarm system. It knows when something is off even before your brain catches up. You don't have to live under someone else's script. You can write your own. Because freedom isn't about doing whatever you want, it's about knowing why you want it. And once you reclaim your mind, no one can take it from you again.